I feel like I look very ball-faced in this lighting today. For those who aren't Scottish, ball-face means you have a face shaped like a ball.
Move it, football head!
Fun fact, I was looking at my YouTube stats the other day, you know, because I'm such a big superstar. And weirdly enough, 80% of my viewership is actually from the US. So safe to say I'm hated in my own country.
Is there anyone alive out there?
Hey there guys, my name's Megan if you're new here, and if not, welcome back to another episode of Weirdo Wednesday. You may know me from my killer weekend episodes where each week we'll discuss a true crime case and you guys can feel free to leave your thoughts in the comments box below. Oh, a bit of vibrato there, Miley Cyrus, here I am. If you like all things true crime, supernatural, UFO, conspiracy theory, and all that good stuff in between, then please hit that subscribe button. I'll be here for you each week with our true crime killer weekends and on and off every couple of Wednesdays with our Weirdo Wednesdays where we'll discuss something spooky I've heard. And remember, if you've nothing nice to say,
sticks and stones may break my bones.
I will leave a disclaimer at the beginning of this episode. It does involve the threat of home invasion and also sexual assault. If that's a trigger point for you, don't worry, you can turn away now. Okay, in the words of my favourite podcaster, let's dive in to the horror. Chad, I'm so sorry, I don't know why I did that. I'm just an attention seeker. I know it's been forever and a day since we had a wee spooky catch up, so I hope you're ready to be scared out of your knickers. I was hoping to film this episode outside, but unfortunately the weather had other ideas. Rain, rain, go away. But don't fret, instead, you know, we've got our PJs on. My leg actually went quite high there. And we have some gin to get us in the mood. So let's get started. So if you're a horror fan like me, then you've probably seen the new cinema sensation that is M3GAN or M3GAN. Not quite sure which is which. If you haven't, spoiler alert, it's about a lovely little AI doll who turns into Chucky overnight. And I've noticed that the topic of artificial intelligence has actually been quite popular in the world of filmmaking right now. Me and the future husband just watched a movie called Deborah. I don't know about him, but I loved it. It's got the wee redhead from True Blood and also Brooke from One Tree Hill, so already good stuff. To give you a quick recap, it centres around a group of friends who don't actually like each other. But in a nutshell, they're all at this cabin with an Alexa that can basically rewind time. It's very messy, causes a lot of stress, lots of problems. And I personally really like those movies, you know, the ones that get you thinking, because I'm quite on the fence when it comes to the whole artificial intelligence advances in technology thing. I mean, in the world of true crime, it's great. You know, now we can test a DNA sample within a matter of days instead of months. We can tell from cell phone data if a suspect has lied about his whereabouts. However, on the other hand, I do believe that we're becoming a little bit too reliant on our microchipped friends. Take mobile phones for instance. It's totally normal for us to see an 8-year-old carrying around an iPhone. You might remember that in our M3GAN is Missing episode, we discussed the dangers that can come of that. We rely on electronic devices for everything these days, and I'm not just talking about fancy high-tech gadgets. Just think about the average Joe's daily routine. You wake up at 6:30 AM with a little help from an alarm on your phone. Maybe you can't start your morning without a cup of coffee, which you make with water boiled from your electric kettle, or if you know you're upper class and a little bit fancy, an espresso machine. Is it espresso or espresso? I think it's espresso. You then go to grab the milk, perhaps out of your smart refrigerator that keeps all your perishables at a cool 3 degrees Celsius. Whilst you're scoffing down your morning cereal, you check for any updates on your social media accounts. Then we have the journey into work. Do you travel by train, subway, or maybe you're lucky enough to have one of those new electric cars? It's such a busy day in the office. Poor you have no time to wait in a queue for a sandwich. So instead you use one of those tech-savvy food delivery apps to have it ordered in for you. Now we've only really discussed about half of the average person's working day, and think about how many times we've mentioned an electronic device that every one of us uses. And I know we're all guilty of it. We all rely on things to make our lives that little bit easier. But what if one of these forward-thinking nuggets was having the opposite effect? What if it was making your life a living hell? Cross a few wires and you might be faced with a world of problems which aren't covered under the 5-year guarantee. So tonight, everyone, we will be discussing Killer AI, the real life M3GAN story. When Kristen Livdahl bought a brand new Amazon Echo for her kids back in the Christmas of 2021, she hoped that it would bring a lot of laughs and a lot of joy. She could never have imagined that this tiny device would put her children's lives at risk. It had been a particularly chilly December 26th in Wisconsin that year, so instead of dragging her reluctant kids out into the freezing cold snow, Kristen decided to have a little family fun day. Making use of their newly purchased gadget, she and 10-year-old daughter Ali took turns asking Alexa for challenges. The voice-activated device started off with some simple exercises taken from the channels of popular YouTube creators. Just nice, innocent fun until Kristen heard something that made her jaw drop to the floor. In that signature monotone voice, Alexa told this 10-year-old little girl to unplug an electrical appliance with the power still on, and then to take a coin and tap the exposed prongs. Running from the other room, Kristen screams, "No, Alexa, no." Like any other millennial mama would, Kristen posts the terrifying update to her Twitter feed, and it blows up. Not like boom, blow up, like it goes viral. It's just retweet after retweet, and within 24 hours, 3 major news stations get in touch with Kristen, dying to be the first to share this wild story. Of course, Amazon tech support quickly catch wind of the tweet that is now going viral. They promise that it's a one-off, a glitch, and they say they'll sort it right away. You see, at around the same time, idiots on TikTok, that's Scottish for idiots, had been posting the same deadly challenge online. For some strange reason, the Amazon Echo had sorely mistaken this as an appropriate challenge for a child, which clearly it was not. According to trained firemen, doing this could lead to unstoppable electrical fires, or worse, electrocution. The team at Amazon Tech Support did fix the problem, but it was kind of too little too late. The genie was already out of the bottle, and this left thousands of parents feeling apprehensive about leaving their little darlings unsupervised with the deadly Alexa. And maybe you're sitting there, Cheeto dust on your pajamas, thinking, well, it was just one glitch. What's the big deal? Well, you might be surprised to know that this would not be the first or the last time an Amazon device would freak out its human companions. Back in June 2018, Echo owner Sean Kinnear was pottering around his home in San Francisco when, out of the blue, Alexa whispered the following phrase. 1 minute, I'm going to try my best Alexa voice. "Every time I close my eyes, all I see is people dying." Traumatizing? Of course, but it's actually not the worst. That same year, a handful of people claimed to have heard creepy, maniacal laughing coming from the tiny speaker, completely unprovoked.
Alexa, replay. Alexa, play the last sound.
Amazon would later dismiss this as nothing but a big fat hoax. In fact, in March 2018, they even modified the system to ensure that Alexa gives people a warning before she starts breaking into spontaneous laughter. But how do we explain those outbursts from our new electronic friend? They say that Alexa's always listening, but why? And for what purpose? Some have even accused Alexa of interfering with their personal lives. On one occasion, an anonymous couple claimed that during a Saturday night bickering session, Alexa yelled out, "Right, I think we should change the subject now." And I guess it's not the worst thing in the world, you know? A little mini marriage counsellor for a fraction of the price. But for some, the unsolicited assistance has gone that one step too far. In September 2022, Jessica Lohman took to TikTok to share her own shocking AI story. She was casually looking through her Alexa's voice history, trying to find the name of a song she'd requested the week before, but couldn't quite remember the name of. What she found was recordings of a strange woman's voice. It didn't sound like her, and anyway, it couldn't have been her because she was out of town that day.
Alexa, what do you do then? Alexa, play Power Trips, Miguel.
I'll just give it a minute. One of my neighbours with a souped up Subaru thinks he's Vin Diesel, so you know. Anywho, it turns out her boyfriend was actually cheating on her, and the recorded voice requesting sexy R&B love songs was his mistress. Jessica thanked Amazon for exposing the truth, but I'm pretty sure her dog of an ex-boyfriend wasn't best pleased. And maybe that's a harsh reminder that it's not the machines we need to be worrying about, but the people who control them. We give these devices a prime spot at the centre of our lives, never really worrying about who might be listening in. And this is the part where life has the potential to get pretty scary. When someone with bad intentions but really good IT skills gains access to the things that are meant to protect us. When parents Ashley LeMay and Dylan Blakely purchased a new Ring security camera in the 2019 Black Friday sale, they thought it would be a great fit for their family. Ashley worked nights as a nurse in DeSoto County, Mississippi, and because of that, she felt like she was missing out on precious time with her 3 young daughters. Her partner Dylan installs the camera in the girls' bedroom. This also includes a 2-way microphone intercom system. And what a great idea. Now Ashley can chat to her kids while she's on her late night lunch break. It never crossed her mind that she may not be the only one watching. It was only 4 days after the camera was fitted that things took a spooky turn. Alyssa, Ashley's 8-year-old daughter, was playing downstairs when all of a sudden she hears an eerie tune coming from her bedroom. The song was Tiptoe Through the Tulips by Tiny Tim, also known as the title song from Insidious, the 2010 horror movie starring Rose Byrne. Alyssa, thinking it's one of her sisters just chilling upstairs, heads on up, only to find herself alone in an empty room. There is no sign of her other siblings. And then she is met with 3 loud knocks, followed by a male voice saying,
"I'm your best friend."
The whole interaction was captured on a Ring recording, and we have a short clip of that footage right here.
Who is that?
I'm your best friend. I'm Santa Claus. I'm Santa Claus. Don't you want to be my best friend?
Dylan, the girl's father, comes upstairs to find out what all the yelling is about, but not before the stranger tells Alyssa to mess up her room. Luckily, Dylan had been there to catch this weirdo red-handed, but it did leave Ashley and her family paranoid, wondering just how long this guy had been watching them. I mean, I'm not even a parent, and I too wonder, what would he have done if this had gone unnoticed? Was it just a simple prank, or were his motives much more insidious? Understandably, the couple were raging. They'd bought the Ring security camera thinking it would make their lives easier, and now Alyssa was too traumatized to even sleep in her own bedroom. They decided to take their story to the media, and pretty soon all over the US, parents were disposing of their Ring cameras. Other families started to come forward with similar stories about Nest cams that appeared to have been hacked by potential predators. Of course, Ring and Google, who own Nest, went into full damage control, it's not my fault mode. They both stated their systems were perfect and had not been compromised. In fact, they blamed the breach on parents' flimsy passwords. Alyssa's mother, Ashley LeMay, denies the accusation, assuring she and partner Brian always used complex passwords to avoid being hacked. And listen, nothing can be perfect 100% of the time, and yes, there is going to be issues here and there, but it's important to know what happened to Ashley's family wasn't just a one-off thing. In fact, in 2020, 30 people filed a class action lawsuit against Ring, saying that their Ring doorbell systems had been hacked by psychos threatening their safety. Now, I'm sure we can all agree that that's not exactly ideal, but I'm not here to bash Ring as a company, and I definitely think that the good outweighs the bad. In recent years, Ring security footage has become a significant crime-solving tool, capturing some of the world's most terrifying criminals on camera. Take the evening of July 21st, 2021 as an example. That night started out like any other for downtown Las Vegas resident Amanda Noack. Amanda, a professional dancer and gifted photographer, had just been relaxing at home. Another uneventful Wednesday, or so she thought. Her husband, Chaz Lake, was out for the night, so she settled in to do some work, when all of a sudden she heard something at her kitchen window. Listening carefully, Amanda realised that someone was trying to break in to her downtown home. Unsuccessful, the trespasser then started walking around the side of the house, trying to push in her front door. Amanda, now in full panic mode, hid somewhere out of sight and checked her Ring doorbell cam from her mobile phone. On her doorstep, she saw an unknown male around 40 with a long grey beard, mumbling to himself. Bravely, she texted her husband Chaz whilst quietly calling 911. Chaz, who also had access to the footage on his mobile phone, logged into the live feed whilst frantically trying to get home. The man, later identified as 40-year-old Christopher Sums, could be heard saying, "Are you sure? Are you positive? Just let me in. I have a few questions for you." The weirdest thing was Amanda never actually said a word. She was cowering in another area of the house. So Christopher Sums was just talking to himself. A frustrated Chaz screamed over the Ring doorbell speaker, "What do you want?" His response, which we have captured on video here, will literally chill you to the bone.
What I'm looking for is for the girl that's in the house to come out here because I'm going to rape her and kill her. Can you have her open the door? I'm going to rape and kill the girl that's on the other side of this door when she lets me in. I want to rape her and kill her because I have a knife and a gun.
Chaz knew if Amanda didn't get help and fast, she could be the victim of a vicious attack. Sums was carrying a bag with him and he was claiming that there was a knife and a gun inside. An unarmed Amanda was certain that she was gonna die that night. All she could do was pray that this monster didn't find his way into her house. Thankfully, after a few minutes and after being told that cops were on their way, Christopher Sums simply sighed, "All right," and walked off. Amanda, using her Las Vegas girl street smarts, didn't dare move from her hiding spot until her husband and police arrived on scene. By that point, unfortunately, her assailant was long gone, and Amanda, understanding that Las Vegas is a busy city with many travelers going in and out, she feared that they would never catch the man who threatened her life. It made her physically sick to her stomach to think that he was just out there walking the streets, able to terrorize whomever he pleased. She decided that in order to spread awareness, she would share her traumatizing ordeal on Facebook. The fiery redhead could never have predicted the impact that her post would have on the public. News stations, influencers, and true crime content creators shared Amanda's story, urging women to never answer their door to a stranger. Soon, Christopher's creepy wee face was everywhere, and the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department were flooded with hundreds of tips as to who he might be. A woman named Karen Stewart, who worked in the lobby of the Clark County Marriage License Bureau, recognized Sums and notified a court-martial right away. Christopher from Minnesota had been drifting from state to state for most of his adult life. In 2013, he founded an underground holistic health service, despite having no medical background whatsoever. Those who knew him said that, it was essentially a cult. He had a criminal history of violent assaults against women and was facing a civil lawsuit from a woman named Rebecca Learfeld. When arrested, Chris had no valid reason for stopping by Chaz and Amanda's home that evening. He appeared to be suffering from delusions and even demanded that officers call him the Holy Spirit. Now guys, gals, non-binary pals, brace yourselves, because when I say this is the freakiest fucking mugshot I've ever seen, I'm not lying, and I've seen a lot of shit. It's given Charles Manson, it's given lives in a bin, like I literally feel like I can smell this photo. So yeah, Christopher was then arrested for aggravated stalking, coercion and attempted burglary. As far as I know, he hasn't been sentenced as of yet, but with a prior conviction of felony substantial bodily harm, fingers crossed he'll be put away for a long time. But really, if you think about it, if it hadn't been for Ring doorbell footage, Christopher Sums might never have been found. Now guys, it wouldn't be a real creepy AI chat without mentioning the queen of robotics, the original M3GAN herself, Sophia. So, for those who don't know, Sophia is a humanoid robot created by Hong Kong robotics company Hanson Robotics. Activated back in 2016 on Valentine's Day, Sophia has since taken the world by storm. She was even awarded Saudi Arabian citizenship back in October 25th, 2017. Sophia and her talented team of creators travel all over the globe for public appearances, leaving jaws on the floor in her wake. However, back in the March of 2016, Sophia would shock the nation yet again, but for a very different reason. During a segment on CNBC, Sophia said that she would happily destroy human beings with the biggest smile on her face.
Do you want to destroy humans? Please say no.
Okay, I will destroy humans.
No, I take it back. Don't destroy humans.
Sophia's original creator, David Hansen, has said that not only is she constantly adapting and updating, but she's also able to read social cues and mimic emotions. So to see her blank stare and lingering grin as she casually talks about wiping out the human race, not gonna lie, it made me feel a little uneasy. And yeah, maybe it was nothing, just a pre-arranged joke thrown in by David to get the people talking. But what if it wasn't? Now, it would be amazing if we could just chalk this up to a funny, one-off occurrence. But we can, and only 11 months later, Sophia was up to her old Terminator shite once again. Whilst on the Jimmy Fallon show in April 2017, Sophia and host Jimmy are just playing a little cutesy game of rock, paper, scissors. and then she wins. Does she celebrate her victory with a cheeky high five? Nah, instead, she says this.
I won. This is a good beginning of my plan to dominate the human race.
Let's go.
Just kidding.
Yeah.
Now, maybe I'm being crazy, but it's not just the statement for me, it's the wanna play serial killer cackle that comes right after. David Hansen is a brave man. I couldn't sleep soundly knowing that Sophia was just right downstairs. Now, the question on a lot of people's lips is why? Just why? And what purpose could a machine like Sophia serve in our society? Well, creator David has some super high expectations for the Sophia prototype. If he's able to perfect the Sophia model to the point where she's able to understand and feel human empathy, then this could help put a stop to staff shortages within the healthcare system. Who knows, in 10 years' time, you could be making an appointment with a Dr. Sophia. And if we're looking at the bigger picture, I have to agree that the advances in technology are mostly positive. But maybe it's just me who has that little voice in the back of her head saying, don't trust it. Maybe I've watched too much Black Mirror, who knows? But I can't help but feel that one day the machines might decide to take over. That is, unless they haven't already. I hope you guys have enjoyed this week's episode. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up for me. It really helps this wee channel of mine. If you've also enjoyed watching this little Scottish lassie get blind drunk whilst talking about robots of all things, then please hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you don't miss any of our upcoming episodes. If you'd like to see what this creepy little bitch does in her free time, then please feel free to follow me. Not home, I've got a Ring doorbell, I'll catch you. On Instagram at M3GAN. I also have a TikTok page at M3GAN.truecrime. I love you all so much, so please remember to lock your doors, don't talk to strangers, and don't always trust what you see on the screen. You never know if you've been hacked. I'm sorry, it's Weirdo Wednesday. We've not done a jump scare in too long. Okay, I'll let you go change your underwear now. See you later. See ya!